Alright, welcome to the episode number 17th of GSAP tutorial. In this video we are going to see how to create this card design using GSAP. Now if I click on book now, this screen pops up and I am interested. Let me book it, and it says 1200 per person and insufficient balance, so it is not allowing me to confirm the booking. I'm clicking on cancel. So this is what we are going to see how to create with GSAP, a JavaScript library. Fine, to follow along I'll leave the images and the source code in the description box. The link will be in the description box so that you can download and start along with me. And this is the file, you will be getting it in the form of source code. We have some images taken from the Unsplash, and this is the background image, and these are the three required files to run this particular UI: HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and finally the logo for the MasterCard. Cool. Now let's get started. To start we need three files as we have mentioned. I need the HTML file. Let me name it as demo.html. Control S. There's some problem. Yeah, we'll name it as demo.html. The second file will need style sheet. Control N, Control S, demo.css, and the third one we'll call it as demo.js. Cool. Now we have three files. Let me use exclamatory and tab. You'll get the boilerplate code for the HTML. Let me link the external style sheet, which is demo.css, and let me link the external script tag, and it's demo.js. Now let me use a font awesome CDN, copy it and place it, and let me copy the GSAP CDN, which you will get it from the internet. We are not going to waste time on how to get it GSAP. So the version I'm going to use is 3.7.0, and this is from the website cdnjs.cloudflare. Both the font awesome icon and GSAP are from the same website. Cool. Now what we can do is, let me import the font as well. The font I'm going to use is Poppins, and it will be of two variant font size, font weight, which is 200 and 600. Then we don't need this, 200 and 600. Now for the default style, which we are using it for the last 14 video, I'm just going to copy paste it, so to save time. For all element I am stripping the padding and margin, and I'm adding the font family as Poppins. That's it. Now let's get into the HTML. So if you are curious how does our HTML page looks like, you can just check it and name it. We have named it as demo.html. It's taking some time. We know we don't have anything on the HTML, it would be blank. Let's just change the title as GSAP UI Monk, so we can identify that we are particularly looking at a page which is demo.html. I think the file is not yet saved because of failed to save dialog already showing a window with the confirmation. I think what's the problem? Somehow it got solved by itself. Now let me refresh it to show the title GSAP UI Monk. Fine. Now the first thing what we need is we need the container. So let's create a container, and inside the container we need three different sections. So let's start designing this UI, not this one but this one. So it has the header section, which hold two icons, font awesome icon. Let me copy it from the previous code. Usually it's a button. The first one is menu and the second one is user, and then later we'll create the body div inside the container, and it will hold these two text. Let me paste it, h1 and paragraph, and then we have these images which we will surround inside the class main. The rating container will hold the images, the rating and the check availability button. And then till here, let's start designing the CSS. This is how it looks. Cool. Let's start designing the body. Cool. The first thing, let's give the height as 100 viewport height, and width 100 viewport width. And then let's add the background, something like page, and position relative. Since we are going to use position absolute for the container, we need to give position relative to the parent, which is body. So let me show you before that. So before anything, this is how it looks. I want this to be at the center, so to make this we need to make position absolute left of 50%, top of 50%, transform translate minus 50% x-axis minus 50% y-axis. And let me give the background color as, for now, let's add the image, which is bg dot, let me show you what I have named it, I forgot. It's bg.jpg, and let's give the height and width, which is the very important thing. Height of 620 pixel, width of 320 pixel. Refresh it. This is how it looks. And we need to add some box shadow. So first let's add the border radius of 30 pixel, and box shadow top bottom left right, blurriness spread, and the color minus 000, which is black, and opacity 0.5. Let me save this and refresh it. You'll see, let me zoom out, there would be some, what do you call that, shadow at the bottom of the container. Now let's give the image is too bright. Let's add gradient, linear gradient. We have used shorthand, so comma is necessary. RGBA, which is black, 0.2, and the second color is same black with opacity 8. Now you will see a slight black gradient over the image. Well, that works great. Now let's work on the header. We have used header. Let's give the width of 100% and padding top bottom 50 pixel, left right 30 pixel, and display flex, justify content, space between, so we will get some space between the two button. Now let's start designing the button. Header button, let's remove the border and and outline, and let's give the padding of 10 pixel, border radius 50 percentage, so it will look circle. To make this perfect circle, we need to give the width and height same, 30 pixel, height 30 pixel, so it would be perfect circle. Now we use display flex, so that inside button we have I tag, so I want it to be at the center. Display flex, justify content center, and align items center. Refresh it. Cool, I think it's good to go. Now on hover, I want the cursor to be pointer. Cool, now let's work on this remaining part, which is the body. Let's give the height of 100 percentage, and background as black, and margin top as 300 pixel. Refresh it. 300 is too big, let me make this as 100. Alright, now I want the overflow to be hidden for the container. Refresh it. This is how it looks. I'm sorry for that. Now whatever is there inside the body, I want to have the color, I'm sorry for that, color white. If you want, you can give the padding as we have given for the header, which is top bottom 0, left right 30 pixel. I think we can proceed further, ignoring the font sizes, because to make this perfect it will take much time than we expect. So to ignore the font sizes and some minimal CSS glitches which may occur, because the time we are going to complete this tutorial in a fast way. Fine, now you can see there is some border radius, so let's add the border radius, 30 pixel, not on both sides. Yeah, it works. So we have body, and it has name in the form of h1, and a paragraph in the form of details. Let me copy paste it just to see the HTML. Name, details. Over here you can adjust the font size. Font size 25 pixel is too big, 18 pixel. The same way 14 pixel, and opacity 0.5. Cool. If you want, you can give margin or the padding as 20 pixel, top and bottom. That works. Now we will get into the rating section. This rating is inside the main div. Let's get the rating class. We'll give width of 100 percentage. You can see, and then whatever the content is inside there, which is user and check, I want it to be at the side by side. So display flex, justify content, space around, space between, not this one but this one. Cool, that works. Now let's add the image. The image is inside the user div dot img. I believe I have given the class image. Yes. So let's give the height of 20 pix 30 pixel, width of 30 pixel, and then border radius 50 percentage, background image URL 1.jpg, just to see doesn't work. It's users, and this user, let's use a user display flex. Cool. Now for the images, let's give the margin left of -20 pixel, 10 pixel, except the first one. So colon, not colon, first child, except first child, everyone will get the position. Now we have to give individual image. For image 1 it is 1, for image 2 it is going to be 2, likewise 3 and 4, 3 and 4. Cool. Now background position, background size, contain, and it works. Let me zoom in, and instead of contain, let's make this cover. Cool. Now the rating text, we can reduce the size. I'm directly calling it because margin left of 20 pixel, font size of 18 pixel would be too much, 14 pixel, and don't forget to give align item center to the container. Here the container is this one, align items center. Cool. Now the same way, let's design the check availability, which is inside the div check. Background red, font size 14 pixel, border radius 30 pixel, padding top bottom left right, too big. We can use the bluish color. Alright, somewhere we are getting close. So this is inside the class main. We can give padding top and bottom 20 pixel, left and right 0. Cool. We are getting it. Now we just need to add the, just after the main, or just after the rating container, we can add our about, which is h3 and paragraph. Let me show you how does it looks. So it's just the font size, we have to work on it, which we have h3 and paragraph. Cool. And this about, again we can give the same padding as we have given it to the main. Alright, almost there. The first screen is completed. So the second screen is this one. Let's have this inside book container. outside the main, so let's surround this inside the book container div, so which will have two sections. The first one, book inner, which holds the cost, and then the two buttons. So if you see, this is the button we are talking about, book and the cancel. Let's start designing this. Refresh it. Now get the book container. Inside the book container we have book container 2, display flex, cool, justify content space between, and we can give background as red just to show you, and since it's inside the padding sorry, margin left of minus 30 pixel and margin right of minus 30 pixel, cool. Now we can give padding top bottom 0, left right 30. That works. $20 in case for bottom 0 sorry. Alright, now if you see cancel and book, these are the classes, and we can leave this as it is. Let's focus on cancel. We have given this, we have already given created button, and this is for book. We can play with the padding. Alright, now the cancel will have the reddish tone, and the book will have the orange or the yellow tone. Let's give color to the bottom, which is book container div. It's taking time to load. Click on the color. You can have this color to the book container. Alright, then let's have the color black over here. Not to forget the font weight of 600, which we have, which we can use it. That works great. Let's call the main, and for the bottom let it be 0. Cool. Now we are close. We have completed the first card completely, so let's focus on the GSAP for now. Now we have called the CDN. So just like the previous step, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to call the book and the class button, not for this. And once I click on the book, the timeline should start playing. So for the timeline, for the first, what we need is, we need the body class to have margin 0. Let me show you. Click on where we can click. We need to click on the book. Cool. So let's give the cursor pointer to both the buttons. Click on book. Now we need to hide these two headers. So the scale is going to be 0 for the buttons inside the header div. Cool. Now the book and cancel class should take its place. Let me show you. So if you see, for the book we have given opacity 0 by default, and 2, it is coming from 0 and it will end to the x position 300. The x position 300 will come here, sorry, will go outside the container. And then the scale, which will be coming from the minus 300. 300 is will be here. If you see the mouse place, it is 300. So we want to reverse the animation. So to reverse the animation, we need to get the class, and we'll make this a reverse. Book cancel. Cool. Now what we need to do is, we want these things to hide except these two text, the name and details. So about main, let's show the book container as well. So let's go step by step. Now the about will get hidden. Cool. And then the main will also hide. Now we want the book container over here. So for that, we have used margin. If you remember, margin 300. We'll remove the margin. Minus 240, 60. Cool, that works. Now if you want this to be over here, what you can do is, we know the container is this one. This is the container. We can give position relative, and then we can give position absolute. Left of minus 300 pixel, or just 300 pixel. And once the animation comes, then we can make the x% to 0. To see this, we need to make the remove the overflow. It's over here. So this is working and this is not working. Where is the cancel? Yeah, the cancel is not working. Container, remove the overflow. It's gone. Yeah, it's over here. We can give minus 300 and check again. Minus 100, 130. Cool, now this will work. Alright, so by now you got the idea of the show and reverse. Now it's just the CSS part which is missing for this one. So let's start working the CSS. So first the HTML, we need to create the HTML. So inside book container div we need to add the following HTML. We have method, which is a div which holds the heading, and the method one which will hold the logo of the MasterCard, and then some warning, disclaimer text, and the button. Let me show you. Refresh it. Book. And by now we almost got everything in place except the method one div. Let's get the method one div and give width of 100% and display flex. Now let's see how does this looks. Cool. And justify content space between, and you can give padding top and bottom 20 pixel, left and right 0, and if you want you can give background color differently. Refresh it. Get into the inspect and we can give the color to it. Inside the book container we have method. Inside the method we have method one, something like this color, and of course padding top and bottom 0, left and right 30 pixel. Not for this, we can use space around. Cool. Except the CSS part, I'll be leaving this to you. You can work on it by giving padding to the places whichever is required. You can see this, there is padding between these two, there is padding between these two, and I have made the opacity 0.5, and this you have to adjust the font size. You can see this font size are similar, and this one is similar. So I believe, so let's just focus on completing the confirm div. It's actually a button. Refresh it. So we don't need this position. We want the color to be and we can make the text align center, and of course you can give padding, margin to it, top and bottom 20 pixel, left and right 0. Cool. So I believe we can close this, and let's start working on the first page, which will be on the container just below the header. Refresh it. You can see now we have to give the style accordingly. And if you notice, the book now has the class make it. So position absolute, the same way I'm giving position absolute so that we can position it properly. So it's at the center. So for now what we need to do is we have to make the body. Let's get into the body and give opacity 0. Cool, that works. Now, not to forget, let's give the cursor pointer. Yes, it's there, but if you see, we have to make this. Let's increase the margin top of, let's say, 300 pixel, 600 pixel. Alright, now this is what we required. Now we need to make this, we need to call this in the JavaScript. We need to create a timeline, so let's create a timeline first, and we need to get the button which we have given the class make it. So when I click on make it, I want the second timeline to start, which is T2, and this T2, what it will do, it will just remove the margin which we have given it in the CSS right now. You can see this T2 just remove the percentage, y percentage. Previously we have given x percentage, sorry, previously we have given margin top. Now let me show, there's an error, let me see what it is. Make it, yes, it's a class, we are getting it. T2, yes, T2 is also okay. Then everything seems right. Let's see what is the mistake that we are given. Alright, that's working. We have given margin top. Now I have just made this, when I click on T2 it should get the margin top of 50. Then along with that we need to remove these two. So we have given the name as main heading and make it main heading, and then we have make it. This should have, it should go to minus 500. The same way it should also go, and it should not take any duration, 0.1. Again, this should not take any duration, 0.1. Refresh it. Cool. Book, that works. Now we just need to adjust the margin top over here of T. Let's make this 90, and 90 is, let's make this 100. Cool, that works. Fine, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening. One last time, click on book now, click on book, and click on cancel. That's it.